Happy Thursday.
What's your overall assessment of where your guys' running game is right now?
I'm not discouraged by it. Coming out of Pittsburgh, we felt really good about it. I thought we were able to do some things in the first half of the last game against New Orleans. What we felt, we had a nice little bit of rhythm going with that. Come out of halftime, and then next thing you know, you're down 20 points. And we made the decision at that point we had to kind of speed things up. Playing a good team, good defense, and so the second half of that game, really doesn't factor into the running game. So I feel good about it. Again, I'm looking more at the Pittsburgh game, what we were able to do in the first half.
How different are the teams defending your run?
A lot of it's the same in terms of loading up the box and things like that. I think there's definitely some things that they're trying to do just to try to keep our guys contained. Really just kind of setting the edge that they've done a nice job of. But again, it's a little bit of they know we want to run it, and so they're trying to load up on it. But again, what you see, Greg, is like the one that Chris got out. When you get through that first line of defense, there's a lot of space. So we dealt with it a little bit last year when we had that stretch of about 7 games, I guess 150 plus. It's some of those same looks that we saw back then. But when they take that away, we feel good about where we are with the passing game, and we can able to kind of strike quick with some stuff behind them.
With guys in the past that you've coached that have had those fumbling issues, what's been the most effective way to get a guy past that?
Just keep putting your support in him, keep working it. He's working his butt off doing the drills and stuff. It's gonna pass. We don't have any doubt about that. We totally support him. Nobody feels worse about it than he does. But the biggest thing for us is just to we know he's a warrior. We know he's a great player, and he'll bounce back. So again, a lot of guys go through it. I remember Tiki Barber years ago. I think I was coaching. But he had a couple fumble issues, and you start seeing him carrying the ball a different way, right? What we want Chris to do is we want Chris to be able to go out and play and not worry about the ball. You saw him, on the fumble. He was trying to cover it up. He really was. You watch him, he's trying to cover it up, and on his way to the ground, a kid came out and made a nice play. But he'll work through it, and we have complete belief in him, and that's not just me saying that. That's the entire offense.
Making him take a football home and sleep with it?
Like the program? I'm not sure if Chad's doing that, but again, he's aware of it. He knows it, and again, he's going to be fine. Really believe it.
Is there a success story you've coached that has overcome that and been fine?
LT was never a big fumbler in San Diego. They all put it on the ground from time to time. Not one guy that comes out. I know Zach Stacy had some with the Rams a little bit. But it's unfortunate that he's 3 games in a row, right? And then unfortunately it's not just the 3 in a row, it's that they get points or they're pinned back there. So that makes it even worse. So again, the biggest thing we can do for Chris is continue to do the drills and stuff that we're doing, getting him to emphasize high and tight, but also let him know that, hey, take care of business, we believe in you, and we'll be fine.
The game when you go in tempo, kind of 2 minute stuff for the whole second half. Russ is kind of chucking it all over the yard. Is that a feasible strategy? Is from a game plan standpoint, or is that only you kind of break that glass case when you have to and you need desperation points?
It's funny because I get asked that a lot. Actually, my wife loves to ask that question. Why don't you guys just do what you did then? And what I try to explain to her is, what is a big benefit of that is the fact it's late in halves, or it's late in the fourth quarter, or it's late in the second half. It's hard to go out when a defense is fresh and spread them out and just try to throw it all over the yard because they're fresh and they're attacking and things like that. What helps is obviously we kind of wear them down, and of course Russ is so magical in a lot of ways of getting out of trouble. A lot of times it's just like, you're like, what is he doing? And then he kind of gets out of there. But the problem with playing that way would be just you'd be concerned about, okay, they know you want to do that and they're fresh, and here they come and they're getting on your edge and they're making you step up into traffic and things like that. That's where it's usually, with most teams, we're no different than most teams, is when you wear them down, it works. You just don't want to be in it for basically, a quarter and a half of football like we were last week.
Does your wife normally ask good questions like that?
She's very critical, I'll be honest with you. I get in the car, I'm like, can I just relax for a few minutes, She's like, yeah, you run it up the middle, I don't like that. And I'm like, join the club,
Is this right after games?
Oh, yeah, we get in the car. Yeah, we get in the car, and I'm used to, a long time ago, I'd get in the car with my mom and my dad and my wife, and my dad and I would start talking. Of course, he was very aware of, hey, third downs, you guys were great, but red zone, you guys couldn't punch it in. And she'd be sitting over there kind of waiting. She'd be like waiting for her moment, like, hey, okay, head coach, get done talking, because I got some things I want to ask this guy. And then she'd be like, that 3rd and 3 call, I don't know about that one. I'm like, which one? And she'd be like, oh, the one where you ran the ball up the middle and you didn't make any yards. And I was like, honey, just let me just get home and have dinner first before I have to explain to you what I'm doing. But we kind of have fun with it. But she's passionate about football, and that's why I love her.
You mentioned the red zone. You guys have been really good in there this year, and kind of carries over from last year. What goes into being a good red zone team?
Certainly running the football is important, just because it's harder to run it down there. Because everybody's a little closer. Russ's ability to add to the running game certainly helps, and then the ability to move around and make plays. Those plays are always, closely game planned. Teams will change up some down there, but they kind of all have a fingerprint. They all kind of have a fingerprint of, hey, here's who they are. Like, whereas third down defenses will change sometimes week to week. Really in the red zone, you get a kind of a feel. There's only so many things that they can call. So I think that's important. Plus, we put a lot of emphasis in it. We do a competitive period against the defense every day in the red zone. Sometimes it's first, second down. Other times it's third down. And, again, going against those guys with really what's the closest looks you can get to game day going against the defense, that stuff's priceless for us.
Why do you think that might be for defenses? Is it that because things happen so fast down near the end zone that they don't want those guys to half step slow if they're thinking about stuff?
Well,
why do you think that's
limited space for sure. You're not going to get a lot of soft coverage. You're not going to get cover 2, and even if you do, it's the safeties are different types of 2. Most teams are going to load the box, and either they got to make a decision, right? When the ball's on the 5-yard line, are they going to play soft and let you run it in, or are they going to come after you? And most teams will try to come after you, and they take their shot. We call it take their shot. So it's not always an all-out blitz, but it's certainly a heavy loaded box where they're daring you to try to run the ball. Russ helps us in that regard because he's the extra hat, if you will, in the running game for us. But it's just it's kind of the way it's always been. The hardest part is figuring out where each team's red zone starts. Some people it starts at the 15. Some people it starts at the 12. Some people they don't start doing it until they're inside the 10. And that's the hardest part, is figuring out where they begin their red zone process. But when you look at the breakdowns, you get a pretty good sense of, okay, here's where they start calling this coverage or this defense, and that's where it kind of triggers for them.
What do you see in Arizona's defense that stands out? Is it their front seven, guys like Chandler Jones?
Yeah, Chandler's playing great football right now. They're doing a lot of exotic stuff on third down, which is really cool. Playing really, really hard. I would say the first thing that jumps out is the 2 edge players, Suggs and Chandler. The young corner from Washington, Murphy, good football player. They do a good job of showing you things you haven't seen. So again, we'll have to be really well off with our rules this week and communicate, and but they're playing well. They're the stats aren't always what they are, but we think it's a really good challenge, and again, it starts with Jones, and linebackers are really athletic. And so Swearinger's a good box safety, and then you got Buda Baker, another guy, local guy, right? That's a good player in the post. So it'll be a good challenge for us.
with 50 attempts last week. Also wasn't sacked. There was some pressure here, particularly in the second half. How did you kind of view how the pass protection held up throughout all those attempts?
I thought it was really good. I thought, when you look at it and you kind of do your after-action report, I thought that was something we came out of the game we were really pleased with. The biggest thing that showed up was the week before in Pittsburgh, we didn't maybe communicate with each other as well. We had some guys going one direction and somebody else that should have been going over this way. They were really great. I thought Britt played great this past week, just directing things and getting guys on the same page. That's the biggest thing. Normally if you're all working together and, hey, we're working this direct declaration and going over to this guy, as long as everybody's working that together, including the backs, when they're involved, that's the biggest part. And we were really on our rules last week, which you saw in terms of not having free runners or a lot of penetration. So I thought they did a really good job.
The 4th and 1 that Chris didn't get right before the half, was that just a good play by them, or was there kind of an execution?
Yeah, 56 made a heck of a play. It was the same play we ran that punched the ball out, down, kind of backed up. We changed the personnel a little bit. again, there was we knocked him sideways a little bit, but 56, it's 4th and 1. He took his shot. So, again, we can be better, but I thought he made a hell of a play. He really did, and he's a good player, good run defender. He kind of just got Chris where Chris was trying to get his shoulders turned and made a nice play.
Do you guys have a game management coordinator, someone upstairs that's looking at things, whether where the things are with the game, and maybe on that second to last touchdown? How come something wasn't triggered to go for 2 there?
Yeah, we really do. We talk about different things. Normally when those things happen, it normally starts at the beginning of the drive, like, okay, hey, here's the score. It was just one of those situations where we're trying to make some adjustments to go fast, and in reality, just it kind of popped up, and the score was such that we really didn't do a great job of knowing that. We could have been better, but again, that's something that we'll communicate better this week and kind of be on top of. And the guys in the box communicate to us because we're down there trying to solve things with the players and make changes. And we'll be better with that this game.
One person who's like, this is your job.
Yeah, Pete drives a lot of it. Pete drives a lot of it, and he's got different guys that he talks to. I'm involved, Kenny's involved, Schneid's is involved. There's different guys that are involved, and he's got a great feel for it. It's just one of those situations that we need to be better with.
What did you think of how CJ Procise played, and I guess how viable, could he kind of be in the running back thing?
I thought he played great. I really did. I mean, it wasn't just the big pass play. I mean, I thought he was on top of his assignments. Again, we've laughed, in these pressers before about I always hear about, the CJ from New England and all that stuff, but he's playing very confidently right now. And it was awesome. I mean, it was awesome to see him go in there and take advantage of those opportunities. So we expect him to continue to make plays that help impact the game and help us win games.
Tyler been every bit as good as you expected him to be this year. Feels like he's just taking another step.
Yeah, well, after coming off that first week, right, where we were all a little concerned, what's wrong with Lockett? You guys got to give him the ball. He's amazing. He really is an amazing guy, and his ability to get open and just the timing with Russ. Some of the things that they see and feel together is really cool. 21 in the past 2 games that we had, 10, 11, is that right? Yeah, I can't remember. I remember Amendola with St. Louis having, I think, 12 and a half or something, but I can't remember another guy having 21 in 2 games like that. And
Russ was joking that he's short and Lockett's short. It's like you guys have like the opposite of Matt Ryan, Julio Jones.
That's a pretty good comparison. I guess since he said it, I guess I can laugh about it and probably agree. Yeah, it's very different. But again, Tyler's that guy that truly, I mean this, you don't want to overcoach him. I mean, all we can do is kind of screw him up because he thinks football so well. There's certain things that we're like, hey, now you do this. And then I'm thinking as I'm talking to him, like, okay, don't overcoach him. Because if you overcoach him, you're going to take the instincts that he's so, blessed with that you don't want to do that with him. Some of the other guys don't get that same treatment. It's like, hey, I want you doing this now. And they kind of, okay, coach, I'll do that. But Tyler's kind of, hey, what'd you see here? And you usually go with it.
How much interest have you had in the air raid offense, just kind of philosophically, and how much have you looked into it over the years? And maybe
Yeah, it's interesting. It's really the one of the few systems I haven't been involved with. West Coast background for a while, digits for a while. Coach Spurrier. I think the air raid and kind of the New England system, if you will, are probably the 2 I haven't. So I don't know a lot about it. I do know it's obviously always been productive. So of course we watch crossover tape. So like when we're prepping for another team, we're seeing some of the things that they do, and but I don't really know too much about it.
How much are these still the Cardinals? Todd Bowles and Bruce Arians blitzing and swarming?
They still do quite a bit. Yeah, their third down stuff is we would put it into the exotic category. I mean, they do some exotic stuff that make you work. You have to track people. They'll move Jones around, they'll move Cassius Marsh around, and they're just trying to look to get different overload blitzes and things like that. So different than the all-out blitz cover zero is always going to show up, which is always a Todd Bowles thing. That mentality of when's it coming? Okay, here it is. Like they're going to show you. Here it comes. We know it's coming. They know it's coming, and then it comes down just to execution.
Speaking of that, the 4th down, the Saints showed you that.
Yeah.
Wilson changed the play. Was that the perfect call?
It was. Yeah, it was. It's similar to the one against Carolina. Just kind of missed it, a little bit, and kind of Malik got tangled up a little bit. But yeah, it was. He did a great job and saw the look, and they were loading the box, and he took his shot and didn't work.
How was Gary Jennings coming along?
He's doing good. Had a good practice today. Again, we're just the thing that's been fun for us as a staff is just the youth and all the different guys we've got in that depth chart. I mean, Malik, two weeks ago, right? Pittsburgh having a great game. Demo comes back, his first play of the year, right? And they kind of doubled Tyler and DK, and so Demo gets the one-on-one on Lattimore, and Russ throws it up and he makes a play. So Gary's doing good. John Erse was doing good. It's just that we've got a really nice young group that's all progressing. But he's a good, talented football player, good size, good speed. He made some nice plays out there today. So we see him continue to do this.
Anything else?
Thanks, Coach.
Make sure you guys write about my wife, and how critical she is. You know what I mean? I'll get her off my back.